Well, folks, it finally happened. We are now covered in snow. And, yeah, it's really cold out here in Minnesota. As a non-native Minnesotan who grew up in New England, I'm used to snow, but certainly not used to the insane temperatures we get here. And I am a baby when it comes to the cold, so yeah, not my thing. However, I mean, we have this beautiful sunrise happening now, and the dog has had a ton of fun running through the snow. She absolutely loves it. And our brush piles have hopefully been providing some shelter for some of the small local animals. But that is not what this video is about. We're going to talk about two things: trees and seeds. So let's talk about the trees first. We finalized a big decision here, and we're going to cut down this big tree come springtime. It's hard to tell with all the snow sitting there, but right there in the crotch of the tree, we have a fern that grows out. There's a lot of ants that seem to swarm over the tree, and we have a really bad ant problem. Previously, there was a tree right about here. Not huge, but definitely not a small one, and it was starting to die right when we moved in. We had it cut down within just a few weeks of getting the house, and when you cut it down, you know, it was riddled with ant holes. Come spring, I can show you the stump that's still there under the snow. That's just, you know, it looks like somebody took some buckshot to it. And we are concerned that this big guy with its big split trunk really close to the house and signs of some rot and some beat up bark around the base, that kind of seems like the previous owners might have really given this thing the business with a mower and weed whacker. Just, we have a lot of concerns about the long-term health of the tree, and figure, while I still have a friend who's an arborist, and before we have all of our apple trees in place, it might be good to get this gal taken down. Eventually we will also take down this smaller one, but we're kind of hoping that once the big one is down, the smaller one will be a bit healthier. It's kind of hard to see, but that sharp angle right about here is where some large branch was cut off before we got the house. And I don't know if it was already rotting or if it's rotting because of the cut, but there's like a pit there. Squirrels live in there. They have fights over who gets to lay their eggs, have their babies in there, and it collects water, and it's just long term, again, not great for the tree or for the house that's, 15 feet away. So we will get rid of the small one in a few years, but for now we'll get rid of the big one, plant one of our standard size apple trees right about here, and the other three in the backyard, and hope that we're replacing enough habitat and providing good homes for the birds and things. We do have a ton of trees in the front yard. Our property is, a third of an acre. So it's not huge, but we're not completely removing the habitat that's in the area. And I think there's a tree in the front yard that's like 30% bigger than this one. And then we have four other trees that are relatively large, and a small crab apple up front. So with those and the trees that we're planting, hopefully the birds and squirrels and everybody are still happy. So yeah, and the other thing we're going to talk about is seeds, but I suppose more accurately we're going to be talking about seed starting setup. And that is what I have been welding up here in our cluttered, cold, cramped garage. So I do a bit of welding. I haven't finished setting up my workshop in our basement. Still need to get some ventilation and electrical set put in. So dealing with the bone-chilling temperatures up here and hoping we can get this done pretty soon and I can stop being cold. We have some 1/2 inch and inch wide angle iron that form the structure. Let's see, I might have to go to manual focus on this. So we have the lips here, and I have this 3/4 inch opening steel expanded metal that will form the actual surface of the shelf. It'll rest inside there. I don't plan on welding it in simply because, you know, we're going to be watering plants on this, and if the shelf rusts through, I want to be able to replace it. And let's see, if, you know, that's not the flimsiest metal we could use, but if it does decide to sag under the weight, I'll see once I cut it, get it put in, but I might just put support going across the middle underneath so that there's something to, you know, prevent that bowing. It is about 25 inches deep, about 49 inches wide, and about 50 inches tall. 4 shelves. For now, the bottom is just going to be sitting on the ground, which is not ideal, especially long term, but I plan on attaching probably 6-inch casters. I just want to get figured out where I want the height, because and how much space I need, because I don't know if I want to make it slightly taller, so that it's easier to get to everything, if I'm going to even need the bottom shelf for plants. You know, these are not the smallest spaces, so if I can start all the seeds I have this year on just the top 3 shelves, I'm going to do it, and use the bottom as storage for things, and be happy with getting some 6-inch casters, and that'll be plenty. But if the 6 inch isn't enough, I want to be able to, you know, put something on there to raise it up a little more once the casters are on. So this is sort of a work in progress, even once it's actually done and ready to use. And I will need to make some sort of triangular, I think a triangular prism, whatever the correct term. I need to make a frame to go on the top to hang lighting from. So on the other 3 shelves, things will be attached underneath the shelf above for lighting. I have a set of 4 LED shop lights that hopefully will be good for the seed starting stuff. And I didn't want to extend the angle iron all the way up, adding to the weight, making it taller without being able to use the shelf on top for plants. So I figured this was a good height to terminate at. And I have, here on the floor, I have some material that I can use to make a frame that I think I'd like to make easily removable, so that if this ends up not being good for a seed starting setup, or if I decide to build another one next year to improve on it, that I still have a strong shelf without a weird frame on top. And hopefully all of my rambling is making sense. So, yeah, just wanted to give you an idea of what's going on, and what the amazing weather here in Minnesota is like. And yeah, I think that is about it. So I'm going to get back to work here on my welding project, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Try to stay warm out there. Bye.